the superpower they told you to hide. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, where we unlearn survival and rediscover softness, rest, and radical joy. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. I recently had the honor of sitting down with Kristal Clark, a powerhouse in trauma restoration, mindset coaching, and cognitive healing, who is literally rewriting the script on what it means to heal, lead, and thrive as a Black woman in America. Kristal has dedicated her life to helping Black women, leaders, and entrepreneurs move from survival mode to thriving, from silence to freedom, from carrying everyone else's weight to finally choosing themselves. Her work is sacred, her insights are revolutionary, and what she shared with me about vulnerability as a tool for healing and leadership is about to shift everything you thought you knew about strength. Here's what we don't talk about enough, and I mean really talk about. Vulnerability terrifies us because we've been taught it's the same thing as weakness, especially for Black women, especially for those of us who've been holding down households, leading teams, raising babies, carrying communities, and showing up anointed every single Sunday. We've been told that to be strong means to be silent, to lead means to have it all together, to survive means to never let them see you sweat, cry, or crack. But what if I told you that the very thing we've been running from, the thing we've been taught to hide, is actually the key to our freedom? What if vulnerability, when rooted in emotional awareness and expressed wisely, isn't weakness at all? What if it's revolutionary strength? Kristal Clark shared something with me during our interview that I can't stop thinking about. She said vulnerability is not about oversharing or dumping your pain on anyone who will listen. It's about knowing yourself deeply enough to express your truth in safe spaces with people who've earned the right to hear it. It's about breaking generational patterns of silence that have kept us stuck, exhausted, and emotionally isolated. It's about modeling courage for our communities so that our daughters, our sisters, our friends don't have to carry what we carried. Let me say that again. Vulnerability, when done right, turns personal truth into collective restoration. Insist that's not fragile, that's freedom. Now, I know some of you are already thinking, but LeAnne, I can't be vulnerable at work. I can't show my emotions in leadership. People will think I'm weak. They'll take advantage of me. I hear you. I've been there. But here's what Kristal helped me see and what the research backs up. True leadership doesn't thrive on perfection. It thrives on transparency and emotional honesty. Let me tell you about Rosalind Merrick. Rosalind is a Black female CEO who led her Habitat for Humanity affiliate in Atlanta through the chaos of the pandemic. Overnight, her building emptied, her team scattered, the volunteer led construction model she relied on, gone. She had to pivot fast, but she didn't do it by pretending she had all the answers. She did it by leading with intentional vulnerability. Rosalind started every call with genuine check ins, not the performative, how are you that we all say without meaning it, real check ins. She named the hard realities out loud. She involved her stakeholders in co designing solutions, which gave them ownership and trust. And you know what happened? Performance accelerated, decisions got made faster, confidence, retention, and results all went up. Her affiliate became one of Habitat for Humanity's top producers globally. Rosalind said something that stuck with me. She said, we all were vulnerable because we didn't know what else to be. And in that space of shared uncertainty, she discovered that vulnerability wasn't a liability, it was a strategic advantage. She shifted from what she called leading by fire to humanized connection. She built a vision guided model that filters opportunities ruthlessly. And in doing so, she redefined leadership in nonprofits. She proved that vulnerability builds momentum and performance. She inspired Black leaders everywhere to model transparency, creating trickle down equity in housing and community service. That's what Kristal means when she talks about vulnerability as revolutionary strength. It's not about being messy or unfiltered, it's about being honest enough to build trust, brave enough to name what's real, and wise enough to know who gets access to your truth. And here's the thing: high capacity Black women and leaders, we avoid burnout and build thriving marriages, organizations, and legacies by acknowledging our feelings safely rather than holding everything inside. We've been taught to be strong, to be the rock, to never let them see us struggle. But that's not strength, that's survival. And survival will kill you slowly. Let me introduce you to Benane. Benane is a Black woman leader in healthcare at Unity Health Toronto. She co led a report on Black staff experiences within a major hospital system. The challenges: systemic racism, underrepresentation at senior levels, and the terrifying reality that being vulnerable, that reporting racism, often increased risks rather than provided protection. But Benane didn't stay silent. She embraced honesty and vulnerability by modeling, "I'm here, I hear you, and I am you." She pushed for programs that created career pathways and open dialogue. She drove initiatives like in person orientations for shared experiences and equity surveys that elevated Black and racialized leaders. And the outcomes: tangible progress in equitable hiring, staff experiences, and leadership development. As a Black woman navigating personal and professional healthcare racism, Benane joined the affinity group from its inception. She used vulnerability to address the overlooked needs of marginalized staff. She didn't just talk about change, she became the change. And her vulnerability didn't make her weak, it made her a catalyst for transformation. It built trust, it fostered staff wellness, which is directly tied to patient safety. It proved that when we tell the truth, when we stop pretending everything is fine, we create space for real transformation. She advanced inclusivity in Canadian healthcare, showing how vulnerable truth builds trust and lives out organizational values for broader community equity. And that's what the soft girl era is all about. It's about dropping the cape. It's about saying, "Shall I don't have to be strong all the time." It's about learning to say no without guilt, to set boundaries without apology, to rest without explanation. It's about embracing healing, wholeness, softness, and emotional honesty as acts of power, not weakness. Now, let's talk about Mothersill. Mothersill is a Black healthcare executive, also at Unity Health Toronto. She was one of the few Black leaders in a system serving vulnerable populations. She faced systemic barriers and pressure to stay silent amid the discomfort of addressing racism. But she didn't. She leveraged mentorship to build confident vulnerability. She embedded equity questions in surveys and shared results openly. She influenced tools like the Equitable Hiring Practice Toolkit and created workshops and development structures for staff. Mothersill's backstory is powerful. Early mentorship taught her to show up confidently, to expand her voice beyond Black communities, to drive healthcare change by emphasizing accountability over silence. And her impact? She transformed healthcare leadership by proving that vulnerable transparency sustains trust, addresses barriers, and inspires Black professionals toward advanced roles and lasting inclusivity. She strengthened organizational integrity, compassion, and progress and equity. She fostered a legacy of action. Do you see the pattern here? Rosalind, Benane, Mothersill, these are Black women leaders who use vulnerability, not as a weakness, but as a weapon for change. They didn't overshare. They didn't collapse under the weight of their emotions. They processed wisely. They spoke truth in safe spaces. They modeled courage, and they created ripple effects that healed not just themselves, but entire organizations and communities. That's what Crystal Clark is teaching us. Your story and emotions matter. Embrace processing as power. You can be strong, anointed, and still growing. This integrated vulnerability creates space for generational impact. It proves that your honesty does not make you fragile, it makes you free. And sis, let me tell you something. I know what it's like to carry everything. I know what it's like to smile through the pain, to lead through the exhaustion, to show up for everyone else while you're falling apart inside. But I also know what it feels like to finally put the cape down, to finally say, I'm not okay, and that's okay, to finally choose softness over survival. That's the invitation of the soft girl era. It's not about being weak, it's about being whole, it's about reclaiming your identity, not the version shaped by family expectations, church roles, or boardroom rules, but the real you that's been waiting to bloom. It's about integrating faith, emotional honesty, and self love in a way that honors your journey and heals your lineage. Because here's the truth: vulnerability is not about being reckless with your story, it's about being intentional with your healing. It's about knowing that you don't have to carry everything alone. It's about trusting that when you speak your truth in safe spaces, you create permission for others to do the same. And that's how we break cycles. That's how we heal generations. That's how we move from survival to thriving. Crystal Clark is out here doing the work, helping Black women, leaders, and entrepreneurs reclaim their stories, restore their minds, and step fully into their power. She's teaching us that vulnerability, when rooted in emotional awareness and wise expression, is not a liability, it's a legacy. So here's what I need you to do: not next month, not when you feel ready, this week. Identify one safe space, a trusted sister circle, a journal, a mentor, a therapist, somewhere you feel seen and held, and name one emotion or truth you've been holding in silence. Speak it wisely as an act of power. Watch how it frees you. Watch how it models repair for your lineage. Watch how it invites others to thrive. Because when you do this, when you choose vulnerability as your superpower, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the trajectory of every woman who comes after you. You're teaching your daughters that they don't have to be silent to be strong. You're showing your sisters that they don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You're proving to your community that healing is not a sign of weakness. It's a declaration of war against everything that tried to break you and failed. Start small, lead boldly. Your honesty changes everything. Your vulnerability is not your weakness, it's the superpower they told you to hide. It's time to unleash it. It's time to be free. It's time to choose yourself, not out of burnout, but out of reverence, because you deserve softness. You deserve rest. You deserve joy. You deserve to be strong and still growing. You deserve to be anointed and still healing. You deserve to be a leader and still learning. And your willingness to be real, to be vulnerable, to be honest, that's not making you fragile. That's making you unstoppable.